Welcome to Quantum Revenue Expansion, where we share time-tested strategies to turn your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. Ready to up-level your business and your life? Then you will love listening in on the lively conversations Ursula has with her clients and guests as they share exactly what they did to grow and scale their business exponentially. Plus, you will discover how to experience more freedom, joy, and peace in your business and your life right now. If turning your annual income into your monthly income is your next step, then join us at the next 2X Intensive. Go to ursulainc.co/apply. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Quantum Revenue Expansion, the podcast where we talk about how to turn your annual income into your monthly income. Super excited about my guest here today. She's part of our CEO community. She's amazing. She's out in the world helping people by changing the way their body feels so that they can live their greatest life and grow their business. And today we're going to talk about 3 simple secrets to chronic pain relief so you can get back to growing your business with Anna Forliti. Anna, I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thanks, Ursula. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you have such a cool message, and I'm excited to share it with our listeners all over the world. And speaking of our listeners all over the world, I just want to give you a shout out. Thank you for being just the phenomenal listeners that you are. Thank you for your emails, your feedback. We love hearing from you. And also, we're sending some special love this week to our friends and business owners in South Florida. And it's been super impacted here because of Hurricane Ian. So sending you lots of love. If you're listening from there, I know some of you are. I hope you're doing okay. If there's anything we can do for you. And we also are in contact with a lot of relief organizations that are on the ground down there. So if there's any way we can help you, definitely email us at contact@ursulainc.co. Sending you guys lots of love. All right. Also, oh my gosh, so many things. Let's see. If you haven't yet, go to my homepage, ursulainc.co, and you'll find the Quantum Revenue Expansion Masterclass that pairs really well with the podcast, where we do dig into turning your annual income into your monthly income. And we do that by talking about 3 things. 1, we get into your quantum revenue goal for each month and how to really set that up in a way that supports you. We talk about how to up-level your pricing, your packages, and your marketing. And on the last part of the class, we talk about how to collapse time and reach your quantum revenue goal even faster. So if you haven't, it's free. It's a free gift. We'd love to support you with that. So definitely go and download that. Finally, a lot of you have hung out at the 2X Intensive with us. If you haven't yet and you're interested, you can go to ursulainc.co/apply. We'll put it in the show notes. Send us a little bit of information, and I'd love to set up a 30-minute call with you just to talk about whether or not the 2X Intensive is a good fit for you and where you are in your business right now. So feel free to send that into us as well, and we'll see how we can help you. All right. With that, let me tell you about Anna Forliti. She's the owner of Postural Healing LLC, and she's going to explain exactly what that means. And she specializes in natural, non-medical pain relief that rebalances your body and addresses the underlying causes of pain. She is a posture and pain expert who has been helping people heal chronic pain, improve mobility and athletic performance for over 10 years. And I'll tell you, whenever I'm hanging out with Anna, first of all, she brings so much joy. I just am happier in your presence, and I always sit up taller. So anyway, so let's dive in, Anna. Just excited to have you here. I know when I met you, I hadn't heard of postural healing, and yet as I've learned about it, it just makes so much sense. And I've read your client testimonials, and I've seen how you've helped people get out of chronic pain, which is a terrible thing to deal with on a regular basis. So tell us a little bit about your story. How did you get into this world, and what made you decide to start your own business?
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to make this compact. So back in my 20s, after my second child was born, all of a sudden I had chronic pain. And I was doing a lot of the typical things, going to the chiropractor, getting massages, and none of it was holding. So it wasn't really addressing kind of my underlying issue. At the time, I guess I knew I had really bad posture. Like I'd catch myself in photos or something with kind of that head forward, but I never really connected it to pain. And it really affected my day-to-day life in terms of, when people have pain, even though my pain was pretty low level, but it just it takes away pieces of energy in terms of like making you less present in your relationships, having less patience, feeling exhausted at the end of the day instead of being able to kind of move through. And at a certain point, that kind of chronic nagging pain turned into, I injured my back on top of it. And that's where I really kind of found the posture, like had that connection between posture and pain, and was able to kind of make a shift there, and it changed things quickly. From there, like it was something I've done personally then for the last probably 20 years. And at some point down the road, when I was kind of contemplating, what do I want to be when I grow up?
Yeah.
And my kids were getting into school, and it was like now time for me to do something. It made sense to kind of go that direction because it had been so impactful in my life in terms of like healing from the pain and then being able to prevent stuff and stay active.
Yeah. Beautiful. And I think what's amazing as I hear your story, and I think all the moms out there just went, huh, what? Like, am I in pain? That you were in your 20s. I think we think of chronic pain like you have to be older or, and that is not true. So, and I'm throwing a question at you that we did not prepare for. So here we go. I didn't throw this at you before, but I have a feeling I mean, how many people would you guess are dealing with chronic pain, but aren't getting support, or maybe aren't even putting two and two together that that's chronic pain?
Right. It's huge. The numbers are huge. Like I actually wrote down some statistics on people in severe chronic pain. So that doesn't include the people like where I started out at, where it was just kind of this nagging stuff every day, or even just like the people that have the constant tension here from sitting at the computers. So chronic pain is one of the top reasons people seek care. It's the number one reason for disability. And it costs more than cancer, heart disease, diabetes. One study said that 50.2 million US adults have chronic pain. This was a 2021 study through the International Association for the Study of Pain. And it estimated the total cost of lost productivity at around 300 billion annually. So there's a lot of people, and that's just the people, like, I mean, that was looking at people with severe pain. So
Right.
it's super common.
Super common, super common. I'm sure many of our listeners right now are going, yeah, that's me. Or I think as entrepreneurs, we often just push it down, like it'll go away. Or, maybe we're moms or dads, we're parents, like we have a lot going on. We're just like, oh, don't worry about that. It'll go away. And I'm positive that it doesn't, right? Like it just gets worse unless you do something about it. So for our listeners, we are going to have Anna share 3 simple secrets to chronic pain relief. So stay tuned for that. Stay on for that. We're not going to get to that quite yet. You have to stay with us to hear that part. So, and it clearly, like, I just want to tie this together. I mean, you are solving such a massive problem. When we talk about, quantum revenue growth and growing our companies, we have to be super clear on the problem we're solving. And I think that's one thing for you. It's like, this is a huge problem, right? And tell us about, oh my gosh, I have so many questions for you. I want to talk about like your business growth too. But before we do that, since you've had your business, what are like a couple success stories, or what have people experienced by working with you with postural healing?
Yeah. Do you want like specific stories or just?
Sure. I mean, you can keep their names confidential, but like high level, like maybe two stories of people that stand out for you over the years that maybe in the beginning weren't even sure this could work for them. Maybe they'd gone to everybody else, right? Or tried all these other things like you had. So maybe just 2 stories. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a common thing because a lot of people don't know what postural healing is or postural alignment therapy is. It tends to be a last hope and a last resort for a lot of people. So most people have tried other things. I'm thinking of one client who came in, and she was basically told that she needed a hip surgery. They could do cortisone shots. She was having low back, upper back, and hip pain, and she had very little range of motion in her left hip. And it was affecting her life. She'd have to stop in the middle of doing things around the house, sit down, wait for the pain to dissipate, and then she could get up and go again. She was told she couldn't ride her horse ever again, which was something that she did with her husband and really enjoyed. And she hadn't been able to ride for, I think, 2 years before we met.
Wow.
And fortunately, like she came in and I do assessments, and we use form of corrective exercise to really rebalance the muscles so that joints are aligned, so people aren't grinding on joints, they're not putting pressure on discs, and muscles are happier. It's giving the body that space to heal.
Yeah.
And she was able to not only like relieve her pain rather quickly, but within 10 months, she got back on her horse again.
Wow.
So that's one story that I love. It makes me happy to think about. And then she was a little bit older, and then I had a younger gentleman come in who basically like had a ton of back pain. And he was a father, he was really into CrossFit and running and golf. And he had to put that on hold for a year. And he had tried a ton of different things. Nothing was working. Somehow came across my information, came in. And after the first visit, he reduced pain a ton. And within 3 visits, he was back to all those activities. And still, like, I think it's about 3 years later, hasn't had a single reoccurrence. And he was 29 and kind of contemplating surgery and cortisone shots, when we met, to like, quickly healing and then not having to think about it anymore.
It's amazing.
So, yeah.
I think for everyone who's listening, I'm sure like we're all thinking of someone or many someones, right, who are in our lives dealing with chronic pain. And I'm sure some people are wondering right now where you're located, or can you help people through the Zoom or virtually?
So that's a great question. So I do both. So I am located in Minnesota, and I do see people in person, and it is also just as effective to work virtually. So I have had clients throughout the US and internationally.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Cool. So if you're feeling this, and Anna has something special at the end for everyone, a way to get connected with her for free, to reach out, and also some other things. So we'll get to that in a moment. All right. Before we reveal the 3 simple secrets, like I feel there's this big buildup because this information is life-changing for a lot of people. Tell us a little bit more about, like, for our listeners who have businesses, because for me, this is twofold. And this is one of the reasons I was so excited to have you. On the one hand, like, you're living this beautiful dream, having a business, and, you're a mom, like you've got all these things going on, and this is like your business is successful, and you're a business owner, and there's a lot of business owners who are in pain out there, and pain stops us from growing our businesses. And so it's like this twofold piece that I wanted to bring together. So for you, tell us a little bit about like any limiting beliefs you've shed since starting your business about, just about growing it or what's possible.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting because I think a lot of us carry things from our childhood. And they're things that we might, have worked on at different points, but they're things that can kind of pop up again. And so I know for me, growing up, money was always a conversation at the dinner table, and it was never good thing, like good things. So I think, yeah, like continually, I feel like I still work on that stuff sometimes. Like I feel like that is still something.
Me too. I think we all do. So yeah.
Yeah, where I'll catch myself and I'll be like, what am I thinking? Like, why? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So I would say for me, that's the biggest thing is, continuing that work and continuing to be aware. And
so like aware about beliefs about money or what you were taught when you were growing up or what's possible. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Were your parents entrepreneurs, or was there anybody in your family that was an entrepreneur?
no, neither of my parents went to college. My dad worked in a family business. And then my mom was a stay-at-home mom for a while and then kind of went back to work. But yeah.
So if your dad was in a family-owned business, someone else's family-owned business or someone in your family?
family, his parents.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, business.
Gotcha. Interesting, right? It's interesting how it kind of rolls out, but it sounds like your dad didn't go on to start his own business separately from that.
No.
Okay. Was
He went,
that business an inspiration to you in any way, or having a family owned business in the family, or were you kind of
I don't
not?
think so. Like, I don't
No.
think that's never something I've thought about.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, I don't think it was.
Yeah. Because to me, it sounds like it was more of the passion for helping people that drove you to start the business and what you'd gone through in terms of healing your own body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's dive in. So I've been like, we've got the tension built. Now we're going to have you share the 3 simple secrets to chronic pain relief so you can get back to growing your business or get back to your life. Like some listeners, I don't know, maybe not everyone has a business, but this is an opportunity for you to figure out how, like that. I think number one, Anna, that chronic pain relief is even possible without surgery, or like when you share these stories, like people who are contemplating surgery, cortisol, cortisone,
Yes.
cortisone, cortisol is the other thing, the other stress hormone, cortisone shots, like all of these things. So tell us the 3 things, the 3 simple secrets.
Yeah. So I wanted to share these because I feel like there's so much information out there about chronic pain, and it can be overwhelming and kind of confusing to navigate it all and to figure out what to do. And so many people that end up coming to see me end up going through this long process of kind of trial and error with things.
Yeah.
And so I feel like these are things that really people should know. And I feel like it's bigger than just chronic pain. With any sort of chronic, I feel like it just helps you in terms of navigating health. So the first one I wanted to share was that the site of pain is rarely the cause of pain.
Ooh.
So much of our care today is very symptom focused. And, like if somebody has shoulder pain, a lot of the treatments will be focused there. Or, just some other examples on how like the current medical system, which I'm hoping is slowly shifting over time. It seems like hopefully it's going in that direction. But like things like pain meds and cortisone shots, they're not fixing the underlying cause. They're just covering up and kind of masking the pain. And pain is something, this is kind of a little side, but just something that I feel like so much of us fear, but it's really just the body giving us a message. And so being able to be curious about pain and really listen to your body is such a fantastic way to be able to kind of know what direction to go, just by listening to the body. And so
Wait,
I guess another,
I want
yeah.
to stop you. Let's talk about that one for a minute. Thank you. Because so the site of pain is not usually what was the thing you said? Not usually the
It's not
blank
the cause of pain.
cause. So is that what we call like referred pain? Have I heard people say, or is that different?
I mean, sometimes it can be a referred pain, but like what I'm talking about is oftentimes, especially with the work that I do, and this goes to maybe this kind of goes into one of my other points. So one of my other points was going to be that posture is often directly related to pain. So with the body, everything, they all kind of link together.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about the third one. The body functions as a unit. So nothing in nature like works independent of each other. Everything is dependent on everything else, and it all functions together. Yes. So in answering your, now I feel like I need you to repeat your question.
Yeah, no, so we were talking about, so the site of pain, is it referred pain?
Oh yeah. Yep. So basically, like with your body, when there are like imbalances or things are out of alignment, it doesn't affect just one piece. So say the pelvis is kind of tilted or rotated, it's going to affect the curvature of the spine. It's going to affect the positioning of the shoulders. It's going to affect where the head is positioned. It affects everything above and below that point. So you end up, say, injuring your shoulder, and that the cause of that may have been your pelvis being out of alignment initially, which changed the curvature of spine, which moved the shoulder, so there's like everything is connected. And so sometimes like if we go and we just try to, so another example of treating a symptom would be surgery. Sometimes surgery is necessary, joint replacements, that kind of stuff. A lot of times it can be avoided. And when you go in and say, replace a part, if that cause of pain is somewhere else in the body, or if there's some other imbalances in the body that haven't been addressed, you're not fixing the underlying cause. You're, replacing a part. So maybe that pain goes away for a while, but there's still imbalances that over time, then maybe the pain will show up somewhere else in the body. Or that's why a lot of times joints need to be, like a joint replacement needs to be replaced 10 years later, is if they continue to wear and tear and grind in that joint because the entire body hasn't been addressed.
Yeah.
Then does that make sense?
Totally. That makes a lot of sense. Almost too much sense. And it's sad that we don't live in a world where that's like that, that we know that, right? Because I think we hear these things, but we don't know. It's hard to apply them to our own body or what physically might be showing up or how it all really ties together.
Right. Yeah. So I would just say, like it's really important, like when you're choosing practitioners and people to work with any sort of healing. Again, it doesn't have to be related to chronic pain, but it applies to chronic pain. It applies to any illness, that really trying to find someone that looks at the whole and isn't focused on a symptom, because the whole is important.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So especially with what you're saying, like this pain here could be from down here or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about chronic pain for a moment, because I think at least when I hear chronic pain, like the first thing I think of is joint pain or, back pain. And I'm sure that's a lot of what you hear about, but what other kinds of chronic pain show up or have you helped people with, Anna?
Yeah. So I've had people with headaches or migraines. Really any sort of joint pains, some people with TMJ, so like jaw pain.
Mm-hmm.
I get a ton of people, and this is really fun for me, with foot issues. So they come in for something else and then have foot pain of some sort as well.
Mm.
But yeah, basically, I mean, nerve pain, because a lot of times that is, if the body is out of alignment, then some of the soft tissues or, bone or whatever could be impinging on nerves, which will sometimes, that referral pain you were talking about, people will get that. So kind of any sort of chronic, musculoskeletal pain.
Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing even the muscular skeletal pain could also cause like other, like stomach pain or other organ issues if something's being pulled a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if people, like you can even experiment with this yourself, but if you kind of put your body into a slouch or just kind of like, and kind of notice, I mean, like you can close your eyes and maybe just notice how that feels physically in the body, but then also noticing how it shifts your energy,
Mm-hmm.
noticing how it can affect, mood or emotional states. It can affect, mental clarity, but then noticing kind of how your abdomen, when you're slouched over, is kind of compressed a little bit. So definitely posture can affect where the organs sit relative to each other in gravity. So it can make things like, if things are not aligned where they're designed to be, it can make it harder for digestion. It can make it harder for blood flow. It can change hormone flow. It can change all kinds of, I mean, really every system in the body is affected. I think of posture really as our foundation. It's so basic, and it's so like not only for movement and being able to stay active and stay pain-free, but also in terms of our overall health and having everything really work in an optimal state. The posture is really important and just supports everything else. So
Beautiful. So for those of us who are chronic desk sitters, especially given this new virtual world we're all living in, what are some of your best tips? Like maybe I'm not in chronic pain. Maybe I don't want to get into chronic pain. Any tips for those of us that are planted at our desk every day?
Yeah. So, definitely. Well, I mean, simple things again, like listening to your body. So paying attention to if you're sitting there and your body's getting fatigued or you're just starting to feel uncomfortable in your body, get up and move or listen to your body. Maybe you need to like lay down for 5 minutes on the floor and just breathe.
Mhm.
So definitely listening to your body. Um, and I'm going to bring up another thing. Another two things, but like, ergonomics has been such a big topic, I think, over the last maybe 20 years or something.
Mhm.
Uh, and it can be helpful and important. But also like a piece people miss sometimes is it's the more about the body you bring to any situation, and
Yeah.
the body you bring to the activity. So if you've got a solid foundation, things are balanced and aligned, our bodies are meant to sit. I mean, not for full day, without getting up, but they're meant to sit, they're meant to run, they're meant to jump, they're meant to climb. Our bodies are created to move. And so, sometimes people will kind of like go through chairs like crazy, like thinking it's the chair, when really it's your body. So making sure, number one, like your body's healthy. I can share. So for
Yeah.
those of you that are on YouTube and can actually visually see this, in terms of like how to sit when you are at a computer.
Yeah.
I like to sit on the edge of my chair, legs in a 90-degree angle. So I got my hip, knee, and the ankles directly underneath. My feet are hip width apart. And then from here, I want you to kind of watch, and I don't know if I have the best shirt on for this, but I want you to watch my pelvis. So sometimes when we're comfortable in a chair, we kind of like go into that C curve and kind of slouch. And you can see kind of what it does to the upper body. The upper body kind of compensates. So on the edge of my chair, if I'm here, kind of relaxed working at my computer, you can see that my head juts forward, my shoulders round forward. So one little thing you can do is roll your pelvis forward, and you can feel that everything else stacks on top. So just even watch what happens to my upper body just by moving my pelvis. So there it's kind of more posterior, it's tucked under. And then I go ahead and roll forward, sitting on my sits bones. And you can see that everything else just stacks on top. So being able to kind of work from this position
Yeah.
is
Brilliant.
one thing that can be super helpful.
So interesting. Your chair isn't a fancy office chair. It's a very basic chair that you can sit on the edge of properly.
Yeah.
Because I actually think some of the fancy chairs you can buy at Staples, maybe like this one, even really wants you to sit back here, right? It like sucks you in. So that's really good. That was a great visual for us to see. Just, as we push the pelvis forward, we align everything else. So thank you for that visual.
Yeah, and it's kind of another like kind of reinforcement of the body functions as a unit. So just by like changing what's happening in the pelvis, it completely shifts what's happening everywhere else in the body.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, Anna, it has been so great to have you here. I know you have some things that you want to share with our audience. So first, tell everyone where you hang out. Like, what's your website? What social media do you hang out on? And then maybe tell us about the special call and if they want to book something with you.
Yeah. So my website is posturalhealing.com. And I am on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And up to this point, I have not been super active there. However, I hired a marketing virtual assistant. And so soon there will be videos. So
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to educating that way. And then as far as if anyone feels like this really is something that might benefit you or someone I have for you a 15-minute free call where you can definitely reach out to ask questions and see if it's a fit and hear about options. So, yeah.
Great. And we'll have that link. So you had a special name for it. What was the link?
It's a clarity call. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. So we'll have a link for a clarity call with Anna to find out if this is a fit for you. And definitely, like if you know someone who's in chronic pain, share this podcast with them so they can take a listen, hear what Anna's sharing, and see if it really could help them. Because I know, Anna, you're on a mission to get people out of pain. And also, if someone is like loves their 15-minute consult with you, wants to move forward, you also are offering our listeners $100 off an initial postural assessment. So assuming it's okay, they can just say they heard this on the Quantum Revenue Expansion podcast. And so they'll get that, they'll receive that.
Excellent. Yes.
Perfect. Well, we will have all of that in the show notes. Anna, just final thoughts from you about, that just inspiring a CEO who might be feeling like giving up right now or feeling stuck.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I know, totally on the spot, which is my favorite kind of question. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Gosh. I mean, I feel like for me, it's been something where I've just kind of followed my heart with my business. Like I've just like, if I would have like stayed in my head, I wouldn't have a business.
Yeah. Right.
So it's kind of like feeling into like, yeah, kind of that what's next.
Beautiful. So listening to your heart and what in terms of what's calling and just taking that next step.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Anna Forliti, thanks for hanging out with us today. We love what you're doing in the world. And to our listeners, if this resonated with you, share it, leave us a comment, and also definitely share it with someone who, might be in chronic pain right now. Or if that's you, take advantage of Anna's clarity call. It's 15 minutes. It's complimentary. And it's a good opportunity to find out, if she could help you get out of pain. And as you've seen her, she's amazing. And Anna, you are such a special part of our community. So thanks again for being here.
Thank you so much, Ursula.
So much fun. A fellow Minnesotan. I love it. And to our listeners all over the world, again, thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate you so much. If there's anything we can do, you can email us at contact@ursulainc.co. That's it for this week. We'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you are ready to make your next quantum leap, let's do it. Ursula invites you to join us at the 2X Intensive. Go to salescoachnow.com/apply. Don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite podcast app.